Good afternoon from Brisbane, Australia, and as you can see, it's still a bit chilly, but the sun's out and it's bright, even though we've had some nice rain. And I know there's lots of parts of Australia that need the rain too. Hi, I'm Linda, I'm your mental health mama, where we have groups for mums who need access to mental health support and can't leave home because of the kids, or you're busy. Either way, we can do this. Today we're continuing on with our social anxiety series, and today we're going to have a look at another facet of the heart side of social anxiety. Now, as we've gone through over the previous 3 days, we've found how multifaceted social anxiety is. So it's not just about fear, it's not just about the heart. It's not just about one aspect of fear, it's about how it all knits together as an individual thing in your life. It's about the heart and how that comes together in your life. So today we want to look at another aspect of how the issues in the heart come together in your life. The things that we've learnt over the previous 2 days have been that social anxiety is a fear of man. We've learned how the roots can get down into our heart, down into our foundations, and until we deal with the roots, we can't be fully free, and so much more. So if you need some more information about different aspects, go back over the past 3 days. And we also set a task on Monday, the first video one, of beginning to be able to look at one aspect, because we had a whole list of different, I don't want to use the word aspect, different ingredients, different factors that made up social anxiety, okay? And we just picked one that we could recognise for ourselves that we wanted to work on. Mental health is not something that just disappears overnight. Sometimes it seemingly comes overnight, but it's not. It's layer upon layer upon layer of multiple things that happen in our life, and we have to just begin with one layer and go from there. Because as we do one layer, we build into our lives, and we build from deep, and we build it stronger and a firmer foundation so that we never have to go back to the same place again. Or, even worse, go back to the same place and it gets worse. I've done that one very successfully. Now, I want to bring up our list for today. Okay, so today is social anxiety, a heart matter. So we want to be informed about what's happening at a heart level for us. Key one, matters of the heart can be good fruit or bad fruit. So what that means is, think of an orange tree, right? Now, or an apple. Take your pick on what tastes the best. Now, if we're putting good things into the soil that are around the roots of the tree, farmers will get a really yummy tasting apple. Do you remember those delicious apples? And I think their brand name is, Delicious. When we were younger, and you used to bite into them, and they literally used to drip down like, oh, yum. I haven't really eaten an apple like that in a long time, but they were so nice. That's what we call good fruit. So, that had good nutrients put into the soil. It had water, it had sunshine, and I'm sure there's a whole lot of other stuff too. And bug spray. Keep the bugs away. I mean, let's face it, we need to keep the bugs out of our life too. So when we've got bad fruit, we've had too much bad put into the soil, into our life. The soil is our life, where we're being sustained from. So we need to begin to put good things in. So good things into our heart, because we're talking about the heart today. So look at how many things, or what one thing are you putting in that's giving your heart life. Now, one of the main things we talk about is sitting down and doing 1 minute of 5 second in, 5 second out breathing, and feeling the breath go into your body and feeling the breath come up and out, and pushing out the stale breath. Because let's face it, if our breath gets too stale, we could be expired instead of inspiring and inspiring in our heart, okay? Inspiration is something that's felt. It's not something that we sit down and logically do, okay? We use the word I feel with inspired. I feel inspired to run down the shop and get chocolate. No, I kid. I feel inspired that I want to go and do a marathon. No, I don't. But you get my drift. When we're inspired from the heart level, we go, yeah. And what steps do I want to take to do that? So you want to be in a space or get to a space. Again, it won't happen straight away, but we want to have that goal that we're breathing in good air, getting rid of the bad stuff, and we want to be inspired to take action. Okay, so fear and anxiety have taken root in your heart instead of love and life. Okay? Should I say love and light or love and life? Both things. Fear keeps the life out of us because we actually hold on to ourselves so tight we don't even recognise it sometimes. I know I certainly held myself really tense and tight and didn't even know it for decades, okay? So we want to be able to get life into us, okay? We want love and light into us, down into our soul level, down into the purest part of our spirit, and we want a life of inspiration, being inspiring for others and living an inspired life ourselves, which is just awesome. So what happens when fear and anxiety have taken over instead of life, light and increase in our heart? Okay, so what happens is our perception of man, mankind, humankind, has become bigger than the love in our own heart and soul. So the fear of mankind has become bigger, greater than us experiencing our own source of love, light and increase from within ourselves, okay? We feel squashed down, etc., etc., etc. We've got a list a few days back of all the things that we feel and what's happening around the fear, so check that out. So what do we do? What do we do when it's so overwhelming that it creates panic attacks, just the thought of either leaving home or having to do something different than our regular daily routine? What are we going to do? Okay, glad you asked. We start to take responsibility despite the events that have happened that have led to this space and place, okay? So part of what's happening for us is we know that we didn't initiate what caused the social anxiety, okay? So that's okay. It might have just turned up out of nowhere one day. One day you're good, next day you weren't, all right? And it's multifaceted, as we've said, as to why that will happen. However, what we do is say, okay, I'm going to take responsibility that this is happening for me now, and because I'm an adult, I can begin to turn that around, okay? Okay, Brenda. Brenda's going to do a replay or she's going to burn dinner. Best you feed your husband. Okay. So we want to be conscious that we want to take responsibility instead of having a belief that there's nothing we can do about it, because there is tons we can do about it. Absolutely. And we only have to do one thing at a time. In doing so, in beginning to take responsibility, we want to keep a journal of our upsets to identify what we are placing before the love that is within our hearts. Okay? So this is part of taking responsibility. We do take steps to become conscious of what is actually upsetting us. So, excuse me, I've had a really dry throat. I don't know about you. Do you get like that in winter? Now, pardon me. You don't have to have pen and paper, okay? Phone. I love technology. You love technology? Certainly on an iPhone, you can go into the notes section and look, I just write stuff down during the day of what's happening, what I'm feeling. The first part is to become very conscious and stop in the moment when something's upset you and go, what's happening here? I've got to write this down. And as you write it down, and because you write it down each time it's happening, you begin to see the pattern that's happening that's upsetting you. Okay? And that's what we need. We need to be able to recognize the pattern of what's happening. If we don't write it down, it's much harder to become conscious of what's happening. So even if you I don't have one on me, but you can get little notepads like that if you're the pen and paper type. And I journal every night because I write. I love it. But some people don't. But you can actually get nice little pads that you can just write lists on. Either way, technology, handwritten, you need to put the effort in for you. Okay, so when you're journaling, you want to be able to look at what's happening in your heart. Okay, so what is the fear and anxiety saying to you? So what are you feeling? So am I afraid of not having acceptance by others? Am I afraid? Do I have the fear of rejection by others, lack of acceptance? What is it? We want to own the fear. Am I finding my identity in others or groups of people? So am I just following the crowd? Am I just believing that there's nothing there for me? Everybody else knows what they're doing and I don't. There can be a whole lot of self-talk going around that particular one. And finding our identity in others, a good question is, do I look to others to see what most people are making decisions on or what their decision about certain things are, and do I follow what they are to keep me safe? So the best way to think about this is in a Facebook group, just say, I saw this last night actually, someone put up 3 photos of a new logo and they said, which one do you like? And it's a massive group, so lots of people replied. So I ran through the list and a lot of people liked number 2. However, I actually liked number 3. So I was like, in the middle of all these 2s, I'm odd. And I went, no, it doesn't work like that. So I found a lady who'd actually had the same thoughts as me, but she wrote out all of the thoughts. And I just went to her post and I said, I agree, number 3 is, it was really professional. It just needed to be polished a bit. So we don't have to go with the majority, but it is nice to find somebody who can see what we can see. So just be aware what's happening for you in that respect. Okay, is pride manifesting in fear of humiliation versus humility and transparency? So when we feel really comfortable with ourselves, we don't mind being transparent, of whatever's happening. Someone can ask you a question, you just tell them. Whereas pride, we don't want to be pulled apart, so we won't talk. We won't say anything. And pride isn't, oh wow, I'm full of myself. It's simply that the opposite is that I feel comfortable with myself. So if you ask me, I can tell you what I think about something or what I feel or it's that vulnerable state that we're all aiming for. And not all of us feel comfortable being vulnerable. I mean, look at coming on camera. Heck, the first time I nearly, melted into the chair into a puddle of anxiety. But, I'll get to the next bit, how we get over it in a minute. So is fear of exposure versus confidence from integrity and openness, which fits into humility and transparency as well, okay? When we're afraid of being exposed, and this can happen when we've had trauma and abuse and so many other things happen that have pushed us down and made us feel like we can't talk. That if we have a voice, there will be consequences for us talking. And this happened to me recently. In the past, my opinion was, how to explain that? In the past, the message I got was that I wasn't allowed to have an opinion. I wasn't allowed to initiate a discussion. I wasn't allowed to see that something could be done a better way. Basically, I retreated within myself a lot. And now, because I know that I live with integrity and openness, I don't have that fear of exposure in my heart. I'm not saying it's 100%, but compared to being so afraid of exposure in my heart, I've come a long way, and we do that together, and we do it step by step, because as we do this, we have people that come around us that show us that their ego is healthy. So the other day, I was saying to a friend of mine in Chicago, somebody else in America said to me, don't stay in Chicago, there's murders there every day, etc., etc. And my friend in Chicago, who travels to Chicago for work every day, got quite upset. And I said, look, I'm sorry I asked the question. I only want peace between us. I don't do upset, And in the end, I worked out, I said, would you rather that I would have said to you, listen, will you get over yourself? I'm on the other side of the world. I want to come visit, and I just need to know, what's the reality over there? And they said to me, yes, I would much prefer you said that. So I rang my son, my eldest son, and I said, do healthy males actually don't care if you have input? And he's like, Mum, you raised me that way. You raised me that it's okay for a female to have input into life. He says it's a good thing. He said you're just getting over people who didn't, want you to do that in the past. And it's true when we come out of the trauma and abuse, etc., etc., and we find our voice, and then we find somebody else who's like, yeah, just tell me how it is, put everything on the table. It is a bit of a shock, and we have to have that reality shift that, oh, wow, it's okay that I'm me and loving and kind, and it's okay to have a voice again. So when you go into your heart and you find that voice again, it can be scary at first, okay? But it's not anxiety scary. It's more, relief, shock, like, oh, wow, there are normal people in the world. And if you've ever had anything to do with a narcissist, you'll know exactly what I mean, because they don't like you having a say in anything, okay? They will shut you down with regards to everything. So this is the space we want to come from to help with the healing and transformation in our lives of social anxiety. We want to be filled in our hearts with so much love that is within us, that we can have our voice, that we are motivated to live a really healthy day, just one day at a time. Okay, that's our list for today. We do have more tomorrow because it is multi-layered. We can't do it all at once. We just can't. But we can do it together. We can break free, and we can move out into life and have a good life. Okay, and if you're a mum who suffers from postnatal depression, feel welcome to message me, and we can go from there. All right, have a wonderful day. Remember to hit share and care for those who you may never know that you reach. Okay, 1 in 3 people suffer with social anxiety, and we don't even know who they are. Okay, they're hidden behind doors, and we need to be the ones that have the courage to reach out and at least let somebody else know that we're doing something for someone who can do nothing for us in return. Okay, bye for now. I will see you tomorrow, at the same time on this same back channel. Thanks for being with me today. Bye for now.